a development in regards to the president's immigration policies. He's been going back and forth in regards to deportations. And an appeals court yesterday, it was divided, but they did rule against Judge Boasberg and said this: the district court proposes to probe high-level executive branch deliberations about matters of national security and diplomacy. These proceedings are a clear abuse of discretion. Can you explain to everybody what's going on here? What's the plain English version?
I'll give you an even better plain English version, but I won't swear because people say I swear too much. The appellate court spanked that you-know-what. I'm thinking of the Tom and Jerry commercial where whack, 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 whack. Or what's the big guy, the big rooster guy that goes around? I swear, I do declare, boy. Boy, they opened up a can of whoop butt on him, Boasberg.
The plain English version is that a federal appeals court just told the chief judge for the D.C. federal court system to stop harassing the Trump administration. That's really not an oversimplification. They accused this judge of abusing his discretion, of engaging in an improper, inappropriate investigation.
Now, understand what you're listening to here. One of these out-of-control, radical Obama-era appointed judges just got taken out back behind a woodshed. And Boasberg, who this is about, who's been trying to be a thorn in President Trump's side the entire time, all he's been trying to do is he just writes these orders over and over and over. And this judge just got hit with what's called a writ of mandamus. And that was from the federal appeals court. Now, you may not know what a writ of mandamus means. I had to look it up myself. And if you're not immersed in legal mumbo jumbo, a writ of mandamus is very rare to be issued by an appellate court to another judge. They basically spank the judge in public. It's extraordinary. The higher court said, Judge, you've abused your power so badly, we're pulling up your robe, we're ordering you to bend over right now and spanking you in public. Seriously, that's what they just did. They didn't just reverse what he said. They didn't say, yeah, I understand you've been trying to screw Trump. That's not what they said. They said you were wrong to even hold these contempt hearings. You abused your authority by even holding these hearings. Let me walk you through this radical judge, what he tried to pull. Back in March of last year, the Trump administration was using the AEA, the Alien Enemies Act, remember? And they started deporting members of the Venezuelan gang Tres de Luces, Tres de Nicaragua. The vicious, tattooed-up criminals, they were sending them to El Salvador and every place else. They loaded them up on planes, sent them down to see Nayib Bukele in El Salvador at the Supermax prison. The planes are in the air. They've left, taken the bad guys. And Judge Boasberg says what? I'm going to issue a temporary restraining order, and then screams in court, turn the plane around. What? Bring those criminals back. They've got rights here. So the administration said, I'm sorry, Judge. They're already gone. So Boasberg, in a fit of rage, decides he's going to hold Trump and his different officials in criminal contempt. He wants to throw them in jail because they didn't stop the plane. Criminal contempt. Then he starts an investigation, and he starts doing his own investigation. By the way, judges aren't supposed to do investigations. Judges are supposed to adjudicate. So he starts sticking his nose in every different crevice that he can, meddling in national security, basically appointing himself as president. And yesterday, the appeals court said, stop, enough. They issued a writ of mandamus and slapped him down hard. They call it a clear abuse of discretion, an inappropriate investigation that should never have happened. This guy was trying to run the presidency from the bench. Who was motivating him to do that? That's what we need to find out.
Basically meddling in the executive branch's ability to make decisions on national security issues. And this all stems from that incident that I'm sure a lot of us remember when the Trump administration deported members of Tren de Aragua to El Salvador. A judge said, turn that plane around, or, you can't turn them over, bring them back. And then they didn't. and this judge found them in criminal contempt for not complying with his order. This federal appeals court pretty much smacked him down and said, you were wrong to hold them in contempt. They didn't even violate your order. And now we're going to issue something called a writ of mandamus, which is an extraordinary remedy that is the court ordering another court to do something because the government has no other option.
Right.
Hey, you're forcing me to hurt you. I don't have any other option. That the presidency can't do anything because you keep issuing these stupid rulings. We've known for a while, any of you who are Trump supporters, you know for a while that these judges, whoever has been behind the scene pulling their strings, has made them feel or told them you're above the Constitution. Do whatever you want. Just stop Trump. Stop Trump from securing the border. Stop him from protecting American citizens. Whatever you need to do, stop Trump. And it was working. Every single one of us was saying, just ignore him. Just ignore that. And now, finally, the higher courts are pushing back. You got to love it. But now it's not enough. Now we need to impeach him, which I know is going to take some time. And again, you're back into the 67 votes and all that crap. And the Democrats are never going to do it. But do something. Get rid of this guy. Get him off the bench. His record right now should disqualify him. The other thing I always want to know is, how does this guy keep getting cases? Is it Mark Elias, Norm Eisen? How does he keep getting the cases that they need them to adjudicate? Every single time that Norm Eisen and Mark Elias have cases that they want to bring before a court, somehow it ends up with Judge Boasberg. This guy doesn't belong on a bench. I think we need to start doing some investigation, looking into his bank accounts and finding out what in the heck is going on. This lawfare that Norm Eisen and Mark Elias have been doing, and they're so proud of it, fine. You want to file lawsuits? Go ahead. But now we need to find out, this deep state judge, who's he tied together with? Who is he working with to try and stop Trump? We are in April of 2026. And you know, for the last year and now almost a year and a half, this guy has tried to stop every single thing President Trump has tried to do. But now, as I was saying in the last segment, now you have to wonder what's going to happen. Because I'm sure Tom Homan saw this and was, oh, this is great. I can't wait. Now you're going to ramp up the deportations. Now you're going to get these people the hell out of here. Now the people being deported know, the people who haven't been deported know you can't stop them from deporting you. And so maybe you might want to self-deport, take the couple $1,000, get the hell out of here before they get a hold of you. We may see mass deportations and we may see mass self-deportations. Because now they know the one safeguard that they had, the one lifeline, was that Judge Boasberger was going to stop everything. And now he can't stop it. No more. Not with his gavel, not with his pen, not with his whining. He can't do anything. That's crazy. Now let me show you another one of these judges. You're going to recognize her. She's always been kooky. And she's on the Supreme Court, and she's having a meltdown. I'm talking, obviously, about your favorite DEI judge, Ketanji Brown Jackson. She just gave a speech at Yale Law School, probably got a big check for it, and she's beside herself. She's slamming the Supreme Court's emergency docket. That's what the critics call the shadow docket. And what it really is, it's when the high court steps in quickly because President Trump petitions to them and lets President Trump's policies move forward. You can keep suing him, but while you're suing him, we're going to let him do what he needs to do. That has been a favorite trick of the left for quite some time. Sue them and keep them from adjudicating it at the Supreme Court. Well, now they're moving forward. You can sue it. That can go on for years, but now we're going to let it happen. And so let me show you this article that she was quoted in, and she was just screaming her head off, wasn't she? Just screaming her head off. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson slammed Supreme Court's emergency docket actions. Jackson faulted her fellow justices for often forcing the public and lower court judges to rely on scratch paper, something she calls scratch paper musings. See how this ties together? She knew that if Judge Boasberg made some sort of ruling that if they appealed to the Supreme Court, they would have to wait till the calendar came back around the following year. But now what the Supreme Court's been doing, and many people don't know, they've been using this quick docket to execute for Trump. And now, all of a sudden, on the very same day, she's pissed off that they're using emergency docket actions. You find that coinky-dinky? There are no coincidences. She goes down here. She goes, last week sharply criticized the Supreme Court handling of the emergency docket, which delivered a series of victories to President Trump in the first year of his second term. Jackson, where's this ad here? Oh, shush, back there. I can't get rid of that ad. Where's that ad? Anyway, Jackson told law students that those rulings undermine the high court's credibility. And she went on to say rulings out of Supreme Court's emergency docket, often dubbed the shadow docket, are typically brief and usually do not include the sort of detailed legal reasoning and conclusions the high court issues in connection with decisions on its regular or merits docket. She faulted her fellow justices for often forcing the public and lower court judges to rely on what she calls scratch paper musings, accompanying the emergency docket actions and excoriating judges who fail to divine the opaque ruling's intended meaning. As you look and see the various stories out there, you start realizing they're losing a grip. She's freaked out because now Boasberg can't do these rulings. And Supreme Court is taking these things on an emergency basis. And they're ruling for Trump time and time again. And her one job, the reason why she's put there, the Biden appointee called on her colleagues to adopt a new approach to emergency appeals, considering first the real-world impact of blocking a lower court action, only then making an assessment of the legal merits, blah, 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 blah. Please stop moving so quick and letting Trump do what he needs to do. I was put here to block him. And now that's falling apart. So you tell me. I told you about the deportations. Now you find out that Judge Boasberg can't stop them. And now you find out Ketanji Jackson is all pissed off. There's a lot going on that people aren't talking about. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that the media isn't even telling you. They're losing their hold on lawfare. They're not able to do what they've been doing, and it's only April of 2025. And once again, I ask you, when you start putting all of this together, how are we losing? If it's only April and all of this is coming out, that they're completely losing it because of everything that's happening, tell me how we are going to lose the midterms. And it's only April. We don't even know what's coming up tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks, a month from now. But none of it spells positivity for the Democrats. And so ignore the panicants. Completely ignore them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're trying to convince you otherwise. They're trying to get you off their game. This is the real stuff that's happening. And not a single word is Barry making up. This is actual stuff happening. Everything from losing his appeal to allowing the deportations, which are going to speed up, which nobody's going to cover, which is going to cause self-deportations to rise. And every one of these people who gets deported or self-deported is another potential Democrat voter who won't be there in October and November. And that doesn't include how many others between now and then get taken out. So you can't stop them in the courts anymore. You can't stop them at the Supreme Court. Sorry, Ketanji. How are we going to lose? Doesn't make any sense to me.